And now, 9 Sports with Dave Owens.
All right, guys, I'm back with the dynamic duo, Sky Kerstein, 106.7 The Fan. He does a great job. Rocky Parrish, the NFLPA show, also 106.7 The Fan. Joe Flacco, 18 of 34, 334, balling out, 3 touchdowns. I'm going to turn to you first, Rock, because I know that's your favorite player.
Let me get it out of the way.
I know that's your favorite player. Does a game like yesterday, though, seriously give you confidence that he can go into Foxborough and get it done next week?
No. I'm going to put it out of the way. Joe Flacco is a bum. No, I'm joking. No, I have to give him – everyone's waiting for this to happen, too. Yeah. I will give him all the credit in the world for everything that he did yesterday. But it only confirms everything that I've been saying all season long, Dave. They go as he goes. Yeah. When he's on target, they are on target, and they fuel his fire. Yeah. But he has to keep on doing it, man.
Yeah, and he's played some pretty good football. I mean, you can criticize the guy, but he's played some pretty good football, Sky,
he was clutch yesterday.
In the postseason. What are your thoughts as they try to go now to New England and win a really tough football game?
Well, first off, his last 3 postseason years, including this year, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, he has fumbled it a few times, but he has 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions this year. Yes. The Broncos secondary, though, they helped him out quite a bit yesterday.
Yes, they did. One of the worst plays I've ever seen. Madhu Williams-esque.
It's funny you said that. I texted that to a few people. When did he get traded to the Broncos?
I love that.
Hey, well, I love that. Champ's been playing since '99. He's damn near on AARP.
Well, Torrey Smith was burning him yesterday. Let's talk about Torrey, the former Maryland grad. Everyone talks about Ray Rice. They talk about you got to get this guy his touches. But really, you're not going to go into New England and bang, bang, bang against those guys and only score 15, 20 points. You got to stretch the defense. I say all that to say, Torrey Smith, is he more of a key than Ray Rice next Sunday? What do you guys think? Sky, you first.
I think Ray Rice is the key.
Okay.
To be honest with you, if you have a good run game, you're going to have success passing the ball. And that's the thing with Joe Flacco. I think he succeeds when they keep the ball on the ground and they let Ray Rice do his thing. Over 130 yards the other day. And remember against the Redskins in that first half, Ray Rice balled it.
Yeah.
He was all over the place.
I disagree to a point because they will have one less man in the box going after Ray Rice because you have to worry about Torrey. And Torrey is a beast and has been that way all season. He just hasn't been getting his credit, but now he is because everyone's watching.
You called him the possible MVP. Let's go to Ray Lewis. Is there something about this Ray Lewis impact? Everyone talks about the emotion of number 52. We know what he means to this football team and to the NFL. But is there something, quote, special happening there at Owens Mills?
You want to take this? It's a little bit overplayed.
Okay.
Ray Lewis, a great player, but he is only on defense. He is not igniting the offense like Ray Rice and Torrey Smith and Joe Flacco.
Okay.
Yes, it's his last season, but there's nothing magical going on.
Sky, prediction. What do you think happens next week?
35-31 Patriots.
Okay.
They better win. It could be 3-0. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. As much crap as I've talked about Joe Flacco not doing well and consistent, they better go to the Super Bowl.
There you go. So you're talking about the Ravens next week.
Correct.
Well, here's the good thing.
Keeps me employed.
We're going to see it right here on our air, the AFC Championship, right here on WUSA next weekend. It's the latter game of the two. We'll have live coverage from Foxborough. Then we break it all down on Game On Overtime at 11:30. All right. Meanwhile, here in D.C., fans are experiencing a major case of the what-ifs. What if RG3 had been healthy? What if Mike Shanahan had replaced him with Kirk Cousins? What if Griffin hadn't run so much to begin with? What if? That's all Burgundy and Gold Nation can do now is speculate. What if? Because their team is done. Griffin also done now, recovering from surgery on the knee. Mike Shanahan answering the why question as to why didn't he take Griffin out after it became obvious he was hurting?
I thought he did enough for us this year to have that opportunity to stay in the football game. It's always a tough decision. But I talked to him at halftime and had to feel good about him to go back in. And I told him we're going to run the football and he's going to have to prove to me. And he said, as I said before, he said, hey, trust me. I want to be in there and I deserve to be in there. And I couldn't disagree with him.
All right, there's another piece to this triangle here. That's Dr. James Andrews earlier on Sirius Radio earlier this week. He says, quote, Griffin is already waiting on me to start rehab. He's a fine young man and a great talent. I'm looking forward to trying to get him back ready for next season. That's the renowned orthopedic specialist, Dr. James Andrews. All right, guys, let's jump into this one. Dr. Andrews, interesting this week because he basically went out and said, well, I didn't clear RG3 for the Ravens game, and then he went back and backtracked when he got pressed. What was your reaction, Rock, when you first heard that?
that you can't be surprised about anything that happens in the Redskins organization. As much as you know, I'm close to a lot of people in the organization, but the fact that things like this would be kept from him, it makes a little bit of sense. But RG3 has to take some culpability in this about wanting to still play. Like we said off air, you're a hero, that's fine. You want to go down with your team, but at some point, as an athlete, I understand, but as a fan, it's a little selfish.
Sky, what do you think?
Well, we saw him go off. Dr. Andrews wasn't around him, and we saw him go right back onto the field. So none of us were really surprised by that. But don't forget, Dr. Andrews is paid by the Redskins. The Redskins called him and said, shut up.
Yeah.
And that's why he backtracked.
I would have too if I'd had that couple $100,000.
Doesn't it make you wonder why a guy who was being paid checks, a lot of chips from the burgundy and gold, would all of a sudden start running his mouth, for lack of a better word, at a book signing? It makes me think, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it makes me think, is this guy trying to separate himself from a bad situation because he's trying to keep his reputation intact? You can't help but think that.
Well, you got to understand as well, Dave, the roster of people that he has that he's done work on is unreal. And the fact that one thing like, you know, RG3 not being cleared and people putting it on him that he may have cleared him, that could mess up his resume forever. And I'm sure he'd still like to drive the Bentleys and Rolls Royces that he has.
It makes me wonder two things. One, how healthy was RG3 to begin with? And two, how much on board was the medical staff? Now, is that just me being a conspiracy theorist, or is that sort of a fair assumption, or maybe, you know, a step that you have to take in terms of thinking, what was really going on, Sky, at FedEx Field, Redskins Park, excuse me? I mean, isn't that something you have to think about?
Yeah, but how healthy was he? Before last game, we saw him running around the stadium, you know, before the game, around the field. He was healthy enough to play. Now, after he got hurt before that second touchdown, he wasn't that healthy. And if you can't protect yourself in the pocket, you should not be in the game, and he should have been pulled then.
Why were they still running those option plays?
Well, that's a great question. That's it.
That I don't understand, but let's be clear. You can run on an ACL injury. And when he walked in, we both said he was dragging his leg. It was just that when he ran, you couldn't tell about the limp as much.
Can you be effective?
You can, because Phillip Rivers played an entire playoff.
Yeah, but he's a different kind of a guy, right?
Oh,
I mean, he's
understood.
not a running quarterback.
And I'm not legitimizing it or justifying it, but he did do it, and I think that if there was a question that he was hurt at the Ravens game and had the ACL tear then and not later, there's a bigger problem there.
Well, the team they could not beat, the Seattle Seahawks in Atlanta today. And let's take a look at how they did. I'll tell you what, NFC divisional playoffs, this thing was awesome right down to crunch time. That is Russell Wilson right there, dancing out of the pocket, gets it to Marshawn Lynch. Every day he's hustling down to the 3. 2 plays later, Lynch battles towards the goal line. Check this out, fumbles. His O-line stabs it, but the refs did say Lynch crossed the plane. 28-27, Seattle with 30 seconds to play. And then that vaunted Seahawk defense, guys, collapses. Matty Ryan with a deuce-deuce to Henry Dulles. Then on the next play, 20 yards to Tony Gonzalez, 41 yards in 2 plays, 12 seconds. And then Matt Bryan says these boots were made for kicking, 49 yards, got it, Atlanta up by 2. Ensuing kick, though, onside. Mike Smith, the coach, will later say, hey, we were supposed to squib it. The kicker got it wrong right there. So Seattle has good field position and a chance for Hail Mary Part 2. I don't think so. Falcons knock it down, and they win 30-28 in a great ball game.
Today's the first day, but we've had a chance to talk beforehand, and you know, what he's implementing is exactly what this hockey club needs, and it's been a balance of kind of the 2 structures we've had before, and I think that's what we needed.
Look at there. That's Caps defenseman Mike Green raving about his new coach, Adam Oates, and he's got the beard going. He also hopes he can stay healthy this season. Hockey is here, folks. Hockey is here. All right, back with the man, Sky Kerstein, right in your wheelhouse here. I know you love those Caps. You are ready for the season.
I've been ready for a while.
Yeah, you've been waiting for forever there. Okay, this condensed season is going to be tough on everybody, but a new team like the Caps, new coach, new systems and stuff like that, is it more difficult for them?
Yes. They have 6 days.
Yeah.
6 days to learn a brand new system. Yeah. And then they're not playing any preseason games. They're going right into regular season action.
Yeah.
You only have 48 games. You can't lose 2 or 3 in a row, or you're going to be in a lot of trouble, as George McPhee said earlier this week. He said it's like 48 playoff games. You really can't lose a lot of games, and they have to learn a brand new system right away and then right into regular season action. It's going to be very tough.
Yeah, they're going to have to jump right into it, and we know it's going to be difficult on a lot of people. Okay, Boudreaux out, Dale Hunter out, Adam Oates back in, replaces Dale Hunter. How different is this Caps team going to look? Give us sort of that inside perspective.
Well, Bruce Boudreaux was way over here.
Okay.
Dale Hunter was on the whole other side. One's very defensive-oriented, Dale Hunter.
Okay.
The other very offensive-oriented in Bruce Boudreaux.
Right.
I think Adam Oates is looking to be somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
He wants to play defense first, but also play more aggressive, get more offensive opportunities. And with a healthy Nicholas Backstrom, look for them to have more success on the power play, especially if Mike Green's out there healthy as well. But look for them to score some more goals per game. They're not going to stay back as much as they did under Dale Hunter and play that really boring style of defensive, grinded-out hockey.
Is he experienced enough, though? I heard some of those whispers. Is he experienced enough to get this thing done? This team seems to have needed somebody that can give them a little punch when they need it.
Adam Oates might be the smartest guy out there.
Okay.
By far, 10 times over.
Wow.
He knows what he's doing. He's a very smart hockey man. And he'll get this thing going. It just might take a little while.
You talked about Nicky Backstrom earlier. How healthy is this guy? Good to see him back from the Michigan trip where he went to look at the concussion. For those folks who don't know, missed a lot of games last year with the head injuries. How healthy is he? What do you think?
Well, after you miss 40 games with a concussion, if you get hit in the head, you're going to be a little scared. Him and his agent decided to go meet with a concussion specialist up in Michigan, and he checked out. He's okay. He's ready to go. He says he's 100% healthy. We'll find out.
All right, we're running short on time, but we got to get you back because got to talk about Ovi and some of these other things. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Ovi steps on the ice and really gets it going. But let's take a look at the early Caps schedule. They're going to get this thing kicked off here pretty soon. They open on the road at Tampa Saturday. Home opener Tuesday against Winnipeg. Monday, or I should